Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. Morning on the farm. Just popping in a little bit late today. Server time has drifted a bit. I'm not able to actually get it quite right because FS22 only lets us go to 8 o'clock. So not a lot of choices there, but go ahead and at this point, we're close, but I'll have to fix it another day. But decided to come on and just check out the farm, but certainly get the honey done. So I'm going to start with that. So been pretty quiet as expected. If you're looking for some farming simulator stuff, hoping you've seen, I've gone ahead and done some single player stuff. I'm working on a survival challenge on a map I found that at least has a little bit of potential to work for that. I'm surprised this pallet's staying on, but I'm not going to complain. I'm pretty happy I got that lucky. So I don't anticipate this being that difficult to get done from the standpoint of I can't imagine we're going to have a lot of pallets here. We've obviously only had a few months. It's been only 4 or 5 months, 4 or 5 days. So I think typically that will mean it's about a pallet a day. Looks like we're gonna get some rain today. I think tomorrow is finally when we can plant. Again, I'll take a look at all that stuff once we're done. I don't want to get all ADD on my jobs here. So want to just stay focused on what I can do. I'm going to end up creating my own problem, so I'm going to actually run over and get myself the Massey and connect it up so that I can strap stuff down. So if you've missed some of the episodes, you can see we've got a little bit of equipment on the farm that hasn't been here except in the last 2 episodes. So certainly encourage you to go back and catch up with how things have progressed. But we're really at a point now where, short of specialized equipment, like if I suddenly decide I'm going to do cotton, which is a possibility just because I think it's insanely profitable, the challenge with FSN is I don't know that we can actually do cotton at this point, because we don't have the bale structures to place it in to sell it. So if I was to go down that route, I've got some research to do, and I frankly haven't done it. So while it can be grown, I don't know that we can actually do anything with it other than sell it in game, and I'm not sure that that's a worthwhile process from a monetary standpoint. Alright, let me do that. Strap that down. Turn this off, because I can do that without burning fuel. So definitely don't want to be doing that if I don't want to be. Fuel is not free. And on a farm, things that are not free are things that we want to conserve. I guess if we're good stewards of the planet and all, we probably want to conserve things even that aren't free, but you get my point. So we're going to continue to play the game that we did before, which is, kind of shove things over. This one's going a little sideways on me, so I want to make sure I can get the 5. So But yeah, we just continue to hop back and forth here. Otherwise, we can't strap things down appropriately. Whoops. Running into the... Goodness gracious. I think I was out drinking last night or something. Oops. It's in drive. I'm pressing the gas. It's in drive. Alright, well, we've got at least, 1,200 liters? So the challenge here ends up being, I suppose I potentially have an alternative. I just don't know that that makes a lot of sense. So the challenge is, obviously, whenever I decide to do these things, I'm kind of at the whim of whatever the market rate is for honey, obviously. Because when they do that, and when I put it on there, we've established early on I can't leave them on the trailer because they count as pallets on the server, and that ends up causing performance issues for the multiplayer servers in FSN. So obviously we don't want to be doing that, and technically, you know, we get fined for doing that, because then people have to come back and fix things that of a mess we've created that doesn't need to be created. So let me back out of that. So that means we need to sell things. Now the way I can solve that is there is a pallet building now that they've given us, which it's about, I think, $60,000-$70,000. It's pretty big, but I suppose it's called pallet storage, so I assume anything on pallets can go in there. Don't know. Didn't buy it. Didn't try it. And it's still another full pallet, so we are still loading honey. But yeah, I don't know how long this episode will be, simply because I just frankly don't know how much honey we have. But I'm going to try to keep chatting with you and sharing what I know as we do this, so that at least there's a little bit of something going on, and you're getting some knowledge that maybe you didn't have. Because isn't that what everyone wants, is to get educated when they are watching Farming Simulator videos? But certainly if you're following along with Misty Hills, I would assume you do want to be aware of what we're working on. So that is some of what we're working on. Alright, this might actually just be able to be left. It's certainly close enough to being over. I don't know, maybe to be thorough I'll push it a bit, but it definitely doesn't need much. Alright, I didn't really look back. I saw there's another pallet, but I don't know if it's another full pallet. It is. Wow. Whoops, how did I hop back in there? I was over... Okay, I'm doing it again. Alright, this is not me. I'm running, and just now you can see what's happening. Server's doing a little bit of lag, I guess, and that is then causing me, when I think I'm turning, to not be able to actually turn. Alright. Can go in reverse. I'm going to come at it this way, I guess, because I'm toward the tail end of the trailer now. And then this will be just a little bit easier at this point, although it's harder to see, as I'm discovering, because I've got my wonderful wooded land here. Come on. That little tree's always confusing, because obviously we can... Wow, another full one. Right, well, So we are going to need to do the side layer of pallets. I'd be very surprised if we get up to the second level, but again, we'll see how everything kind of, whoops, that was way further than I wanted to go. Okay, now clearly it's stuck here or something. Why is that not? There we go. Because I'm trying to get it to the point where I could go ahead and straighten it out, but the forks weren't moving or weren't angling back, so I was a bit confused. Alright, that's good. I was hoping that we could get it to make sure we didn't fall off the back end. Alright, so we're going to have to go in the side there, but once again, definitely not before we strap these down, because at this point, as we start to put things on the side, we absolutely would run the risk of shoving pallets off the other side of the trailer, and there's plenty of work loading things with a forklift as it is. I don't need to create more because I'm being sloppy. So I don't think I've ever had anything go that smoothly, so that was nice. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. My bees have been busy. I'm sure that's maybe why beekeepers or whoever coined that term, maybe that's where it came from, busy bees. Because they probably were like, I'm just looking to do a little bit of work this morning, and suddenly they realize I'm doing a lot of work this morning. But anyway, let me get this down. Then we'll definitely shove that further on. We kind of went too far on the forks, but we should be able to get that. There we go. Yeah, I think the trailer drags itself a bit as I do things, because as I'm pulling the forks out, obviously I've got pressure pulling, and obviously the friction of the forks is causing the trailer to move along with it. So it'd be nice if we could chock the wheels in some way, but the trailers work the way they work. So alright, let's see, am I in the right place now? I think I am. Just gonna back off though a little bit so that I can, whoops, probably gonna have a pallet appear right under us. Wow. Alright, well, if another full one appears after this, we will in fact be on the second level. So, color me surprised. Goodness gracious. Bit of a challenge to view things. I think alright, let me zoom in a bit. I think that'll get me about where I need to be. Because with the forks not sticking out, I should be able to hopefully place it appropriately and just leave it there. Awesome. Again, a little bit of lag. Not quite sure what's happening there, but it's happening. So it was clean for a bit, and then it wasn't. It's kind of how the world works, right? Everything's fine until it's not. Alrighty. I'm not gonna I'd be lying if I said I'm not hoping that this is it, because I really don't want, I've had enough fun of loading honey. Let's see. Alright, it is it. But we're really close to being full, so I'm sure by the end of today that pallet will be full. I didn't check my forks, so again I'm gonna have to push and shove. Just want to make sure it doesn't fall off the edge. Hopefully it won't. Nope. Alright. I was going to say the trailer's like floating around under it. That doesn't help. Now we're good. Just going to kind of position this a little closer to where it needs to be. Maybe even go ahead and for the most part line it up so that when we start up with it again, I mean, I suppose, I don't know. Yeah, why not? This is full enough that it's not like it hurts to take a little extra honey, so I'll go ahead and grab this one too, and then we'll let that do its thing, and then it'll start with an empty pallet. But I'm already heading over there, so whatever honey's in here, we'll sell it. Yeah, I guess the only thing was, maybe it wouldn't make sense because I could, whoa, it's like on automatic. I really wasn't holding the button, I promise. So I'm wondering if because they haven't produced anymore, if they, at this point, are not spawning. I don't know that guess I've done that before. So, live and learn. But it should be, I guess I can line up on the tracks, and then hopefully I'll be close to where I need to be. Alright. So, strap that other one down. And then we will get this over to the market. So, this will let us see how things are going up here. Oh, nothing would be going on the north end because all we did was fertilize. Silly me. So, the weeds are still weedy up here. So, nothing too interesting. Sunflowers growing for Swede. So, not quite to the harvest state there, but getting closer. Alright, letting off the gas, because we are clearly in some lag cycle again. Wow, that was a long one. And that's why we don't stay on the gas, because I would have been even further. Who knows where I would have ended up. So, it's got a John Deere harvester there. And coming up on his vehicles here. I just want to figure out where I want to go. So I should be able to drive around. I think I've gone through here before. There's just a little bit of tree difficulty. Oh, more than a little bit. There's a little tree. Literally a little tree difficulty. Sometimes I am so funny. Just ask me. So, yeah, definitely a lot of equipment parked around, which nothing wrong with that. People can choose whether they want to put things up or not. And once again, the challenge he's got is he doesn't have a lot of room to place sheds, and unless he starts digging more into his field, like the silo is there, right now that's his only option. So nothing's looking like it's going to be placed on 21. A couple days ago, I think Swede was trying to get on, and we had some server issues where the server was unavailable. So perhaps his intent was to come on and do something with field 21, and since he missed that window, he's going to have to forego that this year. So once again, some of the challenges of FSN. Alright, obviously my cruise is not cruising as I thought. So, but yeah, nice morning. I guess, I haven't had one of those days here in Shellbrook like I did in Misty Hills, where I'd just be like, ooh, I'm enjoying the morning, watching the sun. Just been a little too involved in fighting with the FS22 issues. Let me see where we want to sell this honey. Alright, so the grocery mart is giving us the best amount, 951, but yeah, we're about $100 a 1,000 liters less than we were last time we sold. So as I said, there's a little bit there, but once again, when we're talking maybe at most 2,000 liters here after all this time, and $100 difference, we've got to keep in mind if we're really trying to think appropriately with our finances, does it make sense to put up a $60,000 building to store honey pallets to maybe get $100 per thousand? That would take, I don't know, 6 million liters of honey to finally pay for, and maybe it would be 60 million, which would obviously be even crazier. But either way, I don't know that I'm even going to get close to having 6 million liters of honey ever on this farm. So, and the other pallets I don't need to worry about because I've got silos for all my other, 3280. So there you go. Just had the interface kind of turned off to have a nicer look at the world, and then almost missed what we sold our honey for, but popped that up fast enough so that we could see it. But we'll put it away again because I know how to drive and don't need to see any of that. So there's the Tim Hortons, where if we don't have a home that we spawn to, now we obviously just show up outside our mobile home since I have a sleep spot there. But if you're a FM on FSN servers, you're typically going to start when you join the server at the spawn point there. Well, actually, I think I do. Now that I think about it, never mind. What am I talking about? I spawn there too. And then I just quickly jump to the farm. So, thinking the server treats me specially as the mayor, but it really doesn't. The special part is I can try to time sync, but if I get in too late in the morning, can't fully do that. So my excuse, and it's literally an excuse of why I haven't done it and wasn't too diligent about it, is the server, as you probably have seen over the last dozen episodes or so, hasn't really drifted far. I haven't had to do a time sync in a long time. We've been within an hour of things, but we were, finally a couple hours off now. So I'm assuming that means the server reboot that was struggling about 3 weeks ago has been resolved. And so that the server is now rebooting as it should, which I think will cause a little bit of float on the time. And, well, they've got a pallet sitting there, but I'm assuming, again, they can have a pallet or 2 pallets, so if they've just got the bees in that, that's workable. But I know if it's me, I start to forget things like that. I suddenly go off and, buy more whatever it is. That could be herbicide or liquid fert, probably. And then suddenly I'm like, oh, I had that pallet there. I didn't need to go buy any. I had enough in the pallet. But, so while it also helps the server, it also helps my sad memory to just tidy things up. So that's why my process has very much been to try to keep things clean and wrapped up before I sign off, because invariably I'm never going to remember, oh, I've got these 3 things that I needed to do before I start whatever task I'm actually coming on to work on. So, in addition, right now all we've got is what's on the farm. It's been a blessing for sure that we haven't gotten any new auctions at all coming up on Misty Brook. So I don't have any additional fields to plow, because obviously, for example, this one will probably show up at some point, and that will be some work as mayor that I'll get done, because I just, again, want to get a feel for the fields and get familiar with my neighborhood in case I want to do something with that. Alright, so this is good enough here. We'll put this away, and then we'll take a look, and just kind of what I usually like to do before I end my session is understand what my next session really should be, when it should be. So yeah, right ahead there, if I was to put the pallet storage, that could be a spot. It fits, but obviously if I ever need another building, I could always put more sheds out there. If I need to store things, there's a possibility now with these planters, although everything does seem to fit. There's obviously always a possibility that I might choose to do something else. So I'm going to actually just leave this here, because obviously I'm just going to pull out forward with that once I go. Alright, so heading back here, first we'll look at the calendar. So yes, we can plant our wheat tomorrow. And then the day after that, we might have corn. So basically for the next 2 days, I will have to actively keep Misty Hill in my thoughts. Otherwise, I'll have thoughts, but they're not going to be good ones. So let me just make sure nothing else is showing up strangely. Let me throw weeds on, make sure we don't have weeds. We do not. So all I can speculate then is if we plow a field before planting, weeds don't grow, which is different than FS19. Because weeds basically got planted both at harvest and at planting or seeding time. I'll go ahead and turn needs lime on as well, because I want to make sure I see that eventually. So normally I leave everything on, but was just obviously not doing that for a bit, because we didn't. But yeah, field 5, field 3, like all these fields, still potentially, if they come up for auction, are going to need my attention. This is the biggest one left, field 25, if that one pops at some point. That one still needs to be plowed. We did get 1 done, did get 6 done, so all in all, moving along, and looks like not a lot of activity. Alright, it looks like it's got planted down here, so he's been active, but I don't think we've got anything with Sears down there, so he may be struggling to get on, but that kind of gets us up to speed with where we're going. Well, looks like he put in some bees as well, and no other animals that I can see. So right now, a pretty quiet farm, although I think Bryce, if he gets an opportunity, depending on what field he gets, frankly, if I'm him, I want this one so that I get a bigger field nearby, and then he'll have some land around the edge here. Like that would be an awesome place to put some animal pens and not have to affect your field. But it's just a matter of patience to wait until then. Oh wow, there's orange stones on 15, which was the one that we plowed, so whoever picks that up is going to likely have to do some rock picking. So that's the first non-yellow stones I've seen. I guess there's some red ones here. Unless that's just needs plowing that's showing through. But anyway, enough of looking at and speculating, although that is a big part of what I need to do as part of FSN, is just to understand what's happening here. So, quick work today, but made $3,000, so it was certainly profitable. And I will see you next time.